All right. So, second interview today. Welcome to everybody who's joining us. I'm Corey Walmsley, and I'm the CEO of Aurora Borealis Publishing. This is the fabulous Christina Tarantola Fontana. And yes, that's her real name. I know it sounds like a song, but that's her real name. And this is Eric Fontana. Yes, they are both authors. And I wanted to talk with them both today because
Got our babies too.
they're going to have a lot of books. I want to talk with them both today because I think it's a really unique perspective living with other people who are authors. So, welcome, Christina and Eric. Thank you for being here with me. And I'm going to let you guys each introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about your books. So, Christina, if you want to go first.
Sure. So hi, everyone. Corey, thank you so much for having us on today. And I am a former pharmacist and author, transformation coach, hypnotherapist, and I help visionary pharmacists to transform so they can amplify their income and impact. And this is my husband. And, we have a really interesting story that I think you're going to want to hear about how Eric started his book. So I think it's very different to have an author couple. So we're excited to be here. I'll let Eric go and describe who he is.
Yes, I'm Eric Fontana. I worked on my first book indirectly, not knowing I was going to write it probably for the past 4 years. I have a Facebook page called The Meat and Potatoes of Still City, where I go around restaurants in the Pittsburgh area, sometimes far places, and I write articles, I meet with the owners. And my book's called The Hidden Restaurant Gems of Pittsburgh. And it actually started out, I don't know if Christina even knows this, but on a review of a Chick-fil-A sandwich. So that's how I actually got started. And my wife said, you should take the reviews you're doing and that you're going to be doing a creative book. And Corey was great. She helped me edit it because I'm very creative. That's one of my strong points, attention to detail. But as Corey knows, my grammar and my formatting needs a lot of work, but
that's why we need Corey.
And I'm working on my master edition, which will be my second one, which is going to encompass a lot more of Allegheny County. Obviously, I'm a lot more skilled and learned a lot since my first book. So that's my next project.
Yeah, we actually, just to give a little bit of backstory about his book. So we were having coffee one Sunday morning, and he has been doing these blogs and these food reviews. So my mind goes, because that's how I help my entrepreneurs, is like, monetize your magic. Let's package your magic. And so I said, I'm like, why don't you just put this all of these blogs into categories and to put it into a book? And now his book, it's turning into a series, and he's launching a website, and there's so many things that came from it. And I know that's what you wanted to talk about today. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that too.
So yes,
go ahead.
I'm going to be actually working on a website. That is my next project, which is going to encompass food and beverage, or food and drink, in the Pittsburgh area. And I think one of the biggest things that Christina preaches to me, and I think I've always done, is so many people hesitate when doing something. What you should do, it sometimes can be hard, is just get it out there, get it done, and you learn from it, and then you grow from it. And once you're an author, you'll have your book forever. That's something that I use when I reach out to restaurants. It builds your credibility. You learn from it, your vocabulary. There's a lot of things that come out of it, and it's fulfilling. You're doing something good, and that's one of the big ways. I mean, money can help in happiness, but doing something that's fulfilling, I mean, that truly makes you happy.
And of course, me.
Yes.
Well, of course. Yeah, I love that you said that you're using your book to reach out to restaurants, and that's a connection tool for you. And I know, Christina, we've talked a little bit before about similar sorts of things about using your book in your business. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got so excited about his book, I forgot to talk about mine. So this is my most recent one. So this is all about really embracing your gifts as a highly sensitive person, and as one myself, and Corey is as well. I think that there's so much stigma around being too sensitive. And I know I received that programming as I was growing up. So as I was going through my healing journey, and that's really the thread of what all of my books are about, is healing, transformation, empowerment. And I think all of them are prescriptive nonfiction. where I tell part of my story and then give tools to help other people. That this is really so personal to me because I want to help empower people to know that those are actually gifts that you can use in service to others, whether you're writing, whether you're speaking, whether you're doing food reviews, whatever it is, you can use those gifts out in the world. And so that's really what this book is about. And it's teaching you the tools of how to release some things that might be heavy in your past, really transformational tools to equip you to own that magic, to own those gifts, and to be able to package that. You know, one of my courses that I have is Monetize Your Magic. And I really believe that that is, all of us can do that in whatever way. So I think that's really the message here. So just encouragement for people.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So I did want to say we do have some people watching. So hello, Darlene commented. Hello, Darlene. So if you are watching, if you have questions, comments, make sure that you drop them in the comments, and we'll answer them live. If you're watching the replay, we'll still answer them. We still like you. So we'll click on later and answer them. But everybody who asks questions or leaves us comments, you're going to get your name in the hat for some fabulous prizes, author-themed prizes coming up later this month. So make sure you interact with us because we're here to answer your questions. So one of the things I like to find out, I know, Christina, you have 4 books, so you've been writing for clearly more than just a couple months. Mm-hmm. So let's start with you since we were already on your books. Did you already have a coaching practice when you first started your books, or did you start with the books, or how did that work?
I feel like it was always brewing inside of me. So I'm thinking back to my first book, but it wasn't really, I think that book was actually the impetus for me to shine even more, because I had started a health coaching business back in 2014 or 2013. But when I was able to own my story and use it to empower other people, I feel like that almost gave me an extra layer of credibility, to where now people are seeing you as the expert and they're reading your book, they're getting to know, like, and trust you. And we've talked about before, I think you might've even had this story in your other book, one of your recent books, about, like, I had a client reach out to me and say that one of her other friends who never met me at all was reading the book. And then that led that client to me. So there's so many different ways that it can work, that just, I see it all as energy. I know I talk about that all the time, but you know, your book is going to land in the right person. It's going to resonate with the right person. And that is a tool to build upon whatever, you know, your coaching practice, your writing practice, to be able to bridge that person who might've been a cold lead, who you don't even know, to now they know your story. They know about, you know, your aunt, you know, Seal, or whatever it is that you wrote about in the book, and they feel a connection to you. So there's so much that can come from writing a book and having someone relate to your story. Then by the time that they connect with you, they feel like they know you already. So I think that's really cool. And I don't know where, like, his book, he sold so many books of this to be able to reach so many people in Pittsburgh that you may not have otherwise. Mm-hmm. So I think there's so many infinite possibilities when you write a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I did include that story in my book, The Spark Method, because I thought that was such a great example of you don't have total control of where your book is going. It's not like you write this book and you have 5 copies of it and you give them to people, right, and you don't know what else is happening. I mean, it's up on Amazon. You can, you know, sell it in local stores. If you reach out to those stores, you can sell it all over the place. And of course, online, you know, the possibilities are endless. So people all over the world are able to get your magic this way. Mm-hmm. So that's always a fantastic way to get that message out. Eric, what other doors has this opened for you?
In terms of, like, now for the future, or like?
Yeah, well, anything that has happened since your book launch, or new stuff that's coming down the road?
Sure. So I actually today, speaking of that, I'm doing a video with a realtor who does a around town segment, a lot of which are in Beaver County, my home area, or Pittsburgh. He asked me to collaborate. So I have a little bit of video footage. It's going to be coming out in May. I have people reach out to my email
He just got featured. I just happened to have this over on my desk. So he's gotten featured in a couple different newspapers too around town. And what else? Newspapers, what else?
Speaking, I'm glad sometimes when I'm on the spot, when people ask me my favorite restaurant, it's tough, which I know may seem weird, but no, I actually went to David's Diner, which is a popular diner. I just found it on Google Maps. And I figured that the AK Valley, which is like New Kensington area, Oakmont, would be a big crowd. So I wrote them an article, and someone from the Tribune Review reached out to me and wanted me to do an article on me. So that happened, I think, in November. I just wrote an article for the Beaver County Times. It was just published 2 days ago. So you start to gain credibility. And I get a lot of free meals now, not all the time. It depends about the restaurant owner, but I have a lot of respect when I reach out to people, and people are giving me a lot of time. So I think the big thing too, maybe for you, Corey, like for people to understand is about momentum. It's tough starting out, but when you start out and you keep doing something, whether it be bad, great, whatever, you start picking up momentum, and it may take some time, but then once you do that, it becomes easier. So it doesn't really help to stall. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people, including myself,
do it later.
I
whatever.
mean, it really to jump out there and just do it, which is what I did with this book. But I mean, it has opened up a lot of doors. I don't know. I'm pushing to try to do more video now. So, but yeah.
And I might be on TV because of my book. So I didn't want to leave that out. I mean, sky's the limit. And Corey, thank you for connecting me with Tom, because before we got on this call, I was telling Corey that, I wouldn't have had that opportunity had she not connected the dots for me. And it started because we were talking about ways to get my book out there, this fourth book. So I think that it's definitely, I love that image of like opening doors for sure. I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people think, okay, I want to write a book, but then what happens? And, when I work with people, that's something we talk about. It's always, we're not just going to cross our fingers and put it up on Amazon and hope someone buys it. It's, hey, are we local? Are we national? Like, you guys have two completely different audiences.
Yeah.
And you were able to say, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I know, Eric, we didn't need to talk as much about yours because you have a pretty good connection going.
Like food.
Yeah.
I mean, the local restaurants. Yeah, but like with Christina's, it's a completely different niche, and it's very like specialized. You have totally different audiences. So that was another thing I wanted to bring up, was like, it doesn't matter who your audience is, you can reach them. You can, work with somebody who's a PR professional, a marketing person, whatever it is that you need, and get that book out there and get your message out. So I didn't want to take up all afternoon of your time. I know you guys are busy, but so what do you think is one big opportunity, or like one major thing that has happened for you because of your book?
I just said mine. And that just happened a couple hours ago. So being on TV is that's huge. So I think that's mine. What do you think?
Okay.
I mean, having, I think I've been in the newspaper 3 times. Once in the Tribune Review, twice in the Beaver County Times. People reaching out to me, starting to take the path towards being an expert, really gaining credibility. I mean, a lot of people have said, it's so great, to know an author. I don't really know an author, or, you could have someone very successful that they might not have wrote a book yet. So I think it's credibility, and I think it's kind of like a major stepping stone to people are like, whoa, people look at what you accomplish. I mean, education's important, obviously. I mean, there's so many things that are important, but like, you accomplish that. It's like going in a bachelor's or doctorate degree, or, becoming an editor, like you had to go through certain trainings. Like, it takes work, and, it's a sense of, wow, this person's legit.
Awesome. Okay. So I just want to mention one more time, I see we have a lot of other people watching, so hello. If you do have comments or questions, make sure you drop them below. You get your name in the hat for a fabulous prize. But we're going to be wrapping up here in a second. So what was the question I wanted to ask you?
Just FYI, and aside, there better be a bunch of pharmacists watching and commenting. I want you guys to get in on this because I coach a lot of visionary pharmacists who are wanting to write. So this is like the perfect. Corey is amazing. I always give you so much praise because you have integrity and you do so much to support the person and even beyond. Like I did not expect to have this connection, and I wouldn't have had that without you. Like that is invaluable to me. So pharmacists, whoever's watching on my page or on Eric's page, reach out to Corey if you have that seed in your heart to put your story out there, because Corey helps you to tease that out, your transformational story. So just wanted to plug that in too.
Very responsive quickly, which
Yeah.
you wouldn't think it, but there's a lot of people know it's perfect, but
Yeah.
you're very, very responsive and you get things done quick, very quick. My books came together really quick.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I did remember what I was going to ask you guys. It kind of feeds off of what Christina was saying. You know, if somebody's out there and they've been thinking about a book, what advice would you give them?
So I would say that don't think that you need to like start from scratch, because typically people who are interested in writing have journals. You've written blogs before. You and I have talked about this a lot. I've pulled blogs and put them into, use that content, repurpose that content into my books. Mm-hmm. And I think that you don't have to reinvent the wheel if you already have great content. So thinking of it not just in this little box of like, oh my God, it's daunting and I have to create this whole thing, realizing like you can pull from all these other things that you've probably already written. That would be my piece of advice. What do you think?
Mine is chip away at it. A lot of times, one of my specialties, I like short writing. I got a lot of criticism in college that I was a good writer, but you didn't meet the word count. Well, I always came back with, if I can get my point across, what does it matter? I mean, I know it's kind of a give or take, but chip away at it. I might write an intro the night before and then come back to it the next day, but keep chipping away at it and keep a log. And then you can compile to where if you don't do anything and you try to sit down, it can be overwhelming. And be exciting, be creative. My dad was, is it something people want to read? My dad was, he took a creative writing course and he was a good writer, but I remember he started his something about football, when the summer sun gives way to the chill of autumn, like catch someone's attention, like that's, that, I don't know. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Like it's got to be something people want to read.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Those are both really good tips for everybody. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's always wonderful to connect with you guys. And we're going to drop your links below. Actually, go ahead and tell me where people can find you guys and find your books, and we will put the links below as well.
Yeah, sure. So his is bit.ly.com/hidden gems of Pittsburgh.
Yes, it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. And then mine, you could just go to pharmacistcoach.com and there's a shop page and there are all my books with the links there. So that's the easiest way.
And,
awesome.
Follow my Facebook page. Sorry, Corey. My Facebook page is The Meat and Potatoes of the Still City. You can follow it for free. I go around. You might get ideas where to eat. I try to save you money, but also give you the ultimate dining and drinking experience. So
I will say, when I was working on Eric's book, I'm allergic to everything, and I was so hungry reading that book.
He's very disruptive.
So we did have another comment. Darlene said, can't wait to put Eric's book to the test now that the restaurant restrictions have eased it up a bit. So yeah, that'll be awesome, especially with outdoor dining, with everything opening back up, and it's gorgeous out right now. So,
oh my gosh, yep. Absolutely, we're excited about that.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Corey.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and anybody who has comments, leave them for us and we'll put the links below. So thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.